Hi everyone, Joe Kehrig with the Kehrig Real Estate Team, and this is your San Ramon Valley neighborhood update for the week of January 18th, 2021. I just heard on the news that they said that 2020 was actually the best year in 14 years for real estate. And I agree with that, but I'll take it one step further. In my 43 years of professionally selling real estate, I haven't seen anything like what we're seeing right now, because of the low interest rates and because of the demand, people going from the urban to the suburban, that million to $2 million and up price range is just flying off the market. If it has a backyard, if it has 4 or 5 bedrooms, I'll give you a perfect example. San Ramon had a couple listings. One was listed at 1,000,001, and this is just in the last week, 1,000,001. And again, that's about where it should have been listed. You can always sit there and go, God, I remember a property getting 10, 20 offers, but you normally, because it was priced under market. Remember, these listings are priced at the top end of the market already. So there was a 4 bedroom home with a nice backyard in San Ramon, priced at 1,000,001, was the top end of the value based on the comparables. It got 42 offers and went for hundreds of thousands of dollars more than asking price. Then there was another property, 1,298,000, a little bit nicer, a little bit bigger. That was a 4 bedroom, nice yard. Ended up getting 45 offers. Now the scary part, because we have a lot of buyers looking in that price range, and they go, "Wow, geez, it went hundreds of thousands over asking." And I said, "Well, the scary part is the fact that it still means that there's 40 some odd buyers that didn't get the home, so they're still out there." And we set records. They expect to have more sales this year than they've had for decades. And people go, "Well, how come there's so many sales happening? Joe, you said there's no inventory." Well, that's not totally correct. There is inventory, but there's so much demand that it's getting burnt off, absorbed the minute it hits the market. And that's what we've been seeing with the graphs. We've been seeing that, the pendings have gone up, the sales, the actives have gone down, but then after a while, the pendings are strong, and the actives are staying pretty consistent, but still in the seller's market mode. So let's take a look at the graphs for this week. First, let's take a look at San Ramon. You can see, it has slowed down just a little bit, even though there's, the 42 sales and 45 sales. And when you look at 40 active properties in San Ramon, remember about half of those are condos and townhouses. And remember, we talked about condos and townhouses, just because they're not what people are looking for, have already gone up the last 3 years. Where you used to be able to buy 2 condo townhouses for the price of one single family. Now you can buy 3 condo townhouses for the price of a single family. So if you have someone that's renting, or someone that you can help out purchase a child, not a child, but a young adult in your family, I definitely try to do it. With the low interest rates, I'm telling you, it's cheaper than renting out there. So you can see San Ramon has stayed pretty consistent. Again, the activity has been keeping up with the pendings, but the market obviously has still been very strong. You look at Danville, actives it's ticked up a little bit, which is good. Pendings have ticked down a little bit, but expect that to start changing. We are starting to see more properties come on the market. And matter of fact, people ask me, they sit there and they go, "Joe, what's going to change the market?" It's such a strong seller's market. You're getting 10, 20, 30, 40 offers. Well, we know that there's not enough supply, and there'll never be enough supply, based on the demand that we have. And certainly, I think as we get into the spring, late spring and summer, always that's where more listings come on the market, because people are thinking, okay, let's, sell, move during the summer. And so we always will have more inventory, but it's not just going to take more inventory to slow this market down, because it's going to get absorbed because there's so much demand out there. So, but if interest rates go up a 0.5%, and people go, "Geez, well, 0.5% isn't a lot." Well, it's not a lot when it's 8%, but when it's 2.5 to 3%, it's almost a 20% increase. So if the vaccine is successful, and we see an uptick in interest rates because the economy is getting better, which certainly, when the Pfizer vaccine was approved, we saw the 10-year Treasury tick up a little bit, and interest rates followed the 10-year Treasury, and then it went back down. But definitely, if there's some strong signs that the economy and the vaccine is successful, you're going to see the interest rates tick up. So a combination of more inventory and less demand, because that 0.5%, remember, when it's about a 20% increase, and someone's looking at a 1.5 million home, it knocks their affordability down by a couple $100,000. The reason people have been paying more and more and more and more for homes is because interest rates have been going down, 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 down. I mean, there were 14 record low interest rates in 2020. So, the hope to kind of even out the market is we see more inventory, interest rates tick up, and the demand settles down a little bit. So you can see the Danville market staying pretty steady. The Blackhawk market has just been nuts. You can see 4 active listings. Now, I can tell you, I've been professionally selling real estate in the San Ramon Valley, including Blackhawk, for over 32 years. And when we had 35 to 40 listings on the market, we used to sit there and go, God, there's no inventory, because during the tough times, there were 200 homes on the market. Every 1 out of every 10 homes was on the market in Blackhawk. And it's funny, I just checked it. This was based on last week. I just checked it, today. And there were 3 new listings that came on the market. And thank God, because there was only 2 actives. So that means there was only 5 active properties. There's only 5 active properties now. And here's the sad part. The average price of those active listings is over $4 million. So obviously people are cherry picking the low inventory as it comes on the market, but the Blackhawk market is extremely strong. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, we have 2 homes in escrow for over $4 million in Blackhawk. We represented the seller on one and the buyer on the other. Both of these homes have been on the market for a year or 2. And so that's how strong the market has gotten in Blackhawk. You can see in Alamo, inventory's ticked up a little bit. Pendings have gone down a little bit. But again, anticipate that Alamo is going to stay very strong. Because again, you don't see, the big gaps, like there's way more pendings than there is actives. But you got to remember, in both Blackhawk and Alamo, the average price is $2.2 to $2.5 million. So again, and you look at Dublin, this is where you see it really out of whack, where there's a lot more pending sales than there is active. The reason for that is Dublin's average price is around $1 million. So as we always talk about, pricing's like a pyramid. The lower you go down, the more potential buyers that you have. So it's always going to be a stronger market from that standpoint. So if you look at the stats, you look at the sold price to list price percentage, everything, San Ramon, 107%. And expect when I talk to you guys next week, that's probably going to be even worse, with when some of these places that have closed that have been getting 40 some odd offers. Now you will see Blackhawk is down at 91%. Well, that's because there was only a few closings, and one of them was a sale that was close to $7 million, and it sold for about $500,000 less. So it kind of whacked out the numbers a little bit. So you can see that how strong the market is throughout. Everything's still selling 100% or so of asking. Now you might sit there and say, well, what should I do? How does that affect me? Well, here's the thing is one of the reasons there's not a lot of inventory on the market is because, people are refinancing. They're sitting there with 2.5% to 3%, fixed rate financing. And so they don't want to move. And what are they going to do if they move? But there are really people, if you've been thinking that, hey, I think I'm going to make a move in the next year, give us a call, because we'll sit down with you. We'll talk about the market, talk about what your goals are, so you can make the best decision for you. As I always tell people when we go out on an appointment, our job is to give you the 20% of the puzzle that we can. The other 80% is personal. So you take the information we give you, you put it together with your personal situation, and then you make the best decision for you. So if you want more information, or you want to sit down just confidentially and look at your situation, give us a call. Again, Joe Kehrig, 925-487-6838, or joe@kehrigteam.com. Visit our website to learn a little bit more about us, www.kehrigteam.com. Now, you're not going to want to miss next week. We're going to talk about the Biden presidency and real estate, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. Now, there's some good, but there's also some real ugly stuff that potentially they've talked about doing, which events, it doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. And I look at it from the standpoint of, okay, what have they said? What is the presidency and the who's in power now said about real estate and what they're going to do. And that's all I do is take that information and give you my opinion on that. Not political at all, so you don't have to worry about that. So if you don't want to miss that, click on the subscribe button along with the bell button to be reminded. And we'd love it if you also liked our videos. So until next week, may God bless you. May God bless your family. And going into 2021, may God bless the United States of America.